the 24th. Glad you have decided to join with us. Today, I want to ask you to be praying for Donnie and Kelly and Christian and Kaylin Kern. Obviously, as a church, recently we've talked a lot about things in the schools and school boards. And Donnie Kern is a member of the Allegheny County School Board. So please be praying for Donnie. That he can be a voice during this time. We're looking at Matthew chapter 6 today, and the toughest part of Matthew 6 is trying to say, wow, out of all this incredible teaching that Jesus gave, how do I narrow it down to one little short devotion? So I have decided that we're going to look at verses 19 through 21. Where Jesus says, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your hearts be also." You and I, as American Christians, we have to recognize we live with tremendous material prosperity. Even if you and I would be considered in the lower class, the fact that every one of us has running water and food and clothes and shelter and we have cars to drive and all those things. Now, most of us have way beyond that. And there is nothing wrong with having those blessings. God gives us blessings, though, that we may be a blessing to others. And there is this whole thing that I see throughout Jesus' teachings, throughout the teachings of the Bible, that we need to live with a single focus, that this earth is temporary and that we are pilgrims passing through here. And it's not hard for us to think about what can be treasures to us in this earth, what we hold tightly to. But I want us to think about, Jesus said, lay up treasures in heaven. Because he said here on earth, thieves can steal, the rust can eat it away, moth, Sometimes while I'm riding around, I see these old houses standing beside the road that you just can tell they're in disarray, but yet you can look and imagine at one time that was an incredibly beautiful place. But we recognize something. In this earth, whatever it is, it does decay. It eventually goes away. Our retirement accounts, either it can run out or a Bernie Madoff or somebody like that can come along and rip us off. None of that is secure. But the Lord has promised us that treasure laid up in heaven is absolutely secure. So how do we lay up treasure in heaven? Well, we find out what is treasure in the heart of God. And treasure in the heart of God, might say first and foremost, is for other people to be brought into the kingdom of God and for people then to grow as disciples. So therefore, when we give our life to the cause of the kingdom of God, when we invest in doing things that people who have never heard the gospel, that they can hear the gospel, when we support the Kanembu people and things like that, we are laying up treasures in heaven. But it is when we give of prayer for people, it is when we give of finances for the gospel. It is when we give of our efforts for people. It is when we share the gospel with somebody else, whether they respond or not. We are doing things. If we're doing it with the right heart, we're doing it because we are doing the King's work. Now, some of God's people are abundantly blessed in the material possessions of this world. God, and I think people who have that, they have a special stewardship. And usually, if it's right, God gives them a heart to share that with others. But here's a reality. There may be some people who, when they die, they have very little to leave to their ancestors, to their children, whatnot. But in their life, they have been laying up into the kingdom of God. People who have served as missionaries in places where they've hardly even been recognized, or people who have given sacrificially that the work of the kingdom may go forth. And someday they're going to stand in the presence of the living God. Now, we know you're saved by grace through faith. It is the gift of God. But rewards is a very real thing. And here Jesus says to lay, in other words, we send it on ahead of time. It's what we do. And there, nobody's ever going to steal it from us. It's not going to rot. It is not going to decay. And I don't know how it's all going to work in heaven, but there's going to be some people that I believe it's going to be incredible the blessings they have, because they have sent their treasure ahead because of their love for the Lord. I challenge you today. I challenge me today. Let's think about where we are truly laying up treasure. And then, because Jesus said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God bless you.